Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Peace, love, and positivity to you. My name is Sohum, and today I'll be giving a first-time reaction and lyrical analysis to the song If You Tolerate This, Your Children Will Be Next. This is by the Manic Street Preachers. It's a bit of a mouthful of a song title, but it definitely has you immediately wondering, what is this problematic societal behavior that will impact the future of our children? We need to talk about it now. It is important, of course, to keep our children safe, so I'm curious to find out what it exactly is. For full disclosure, this is my very first time ever listening to the Manic Street Preachers. I'm unaware of their style, their genre. I've never even heard their name up until this point, so I'm super excited to check this out today alongside you. But before diving in, a massive thank you goes to Claire the Joyful for making this generous donation request and the selection for us today. Now, let's jump in. Ooh. Drum beat already on point. You can hear the subtle melody in the bass line.
The future teaches you to be alone. The present to be afraid to go. So if I can't shoot rabbits, then I can't shoot fascists.
Oh wow.
Bullets flying up today. We'll forget it all again.
Bullets for your brain today. Interesting.
Turns me into gutless wonder.
And this singer has a unique voice.
If you tolerate this, then your children will be next. If you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Will be next. Will be next.
Wow. When somebody says that to you, your ears have to perk up and listen. It is such a firm statement.
Gravity keeps my head down. Or is it maybe shame?
Yeah, and throughout this performance so far, I've been hearing this kind of wow sound effect. Hopefully you got it from my my attempt there. Hearing this throughout the entirety of this performance, it's almost like there are these UFOs that just appear at different points in this mix, producing those sounds for us. I don't know why that's like the description that comes to my mind. But overall, in terms of energy, this is a very it's almost like a relaxing kind of a song. The way it like feels to me. Even though I might describe this as some kind of like rock, pop rock, maybe alt rock, it feels really relaxing. And I guess for more context, I am a metalhead rock lover through and through. That was a lot of where my musical upbringings came from. So maybe that's why it's super relaxing to me. But I don't know. Let me know if there's something else that I'm missing that would describe why I feel that way right now. Add the grit there. I'm a pacifist. But the bullets in the head from earlier. Yeah. Ooh. Uh-huh. I needed this right now. Love me some electric guitar. Nice. See, what was relaxing earlier became more intense here. Nice. Great hit. Yeah, brother. Each chorus is just elevating. Wow, was not expecting the dropout here, but you know what? It's actually perfect. The crowd getting into it, letting the message actually resonate in the sparse mix right now. Guitar comes in, outlining those chords again. Wow, such a smart composition. Oh my god, let's go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, what a hit right there. So satisfying. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah. They ended that song on such a high note. Wow. I'm really impressed by that. Cause what a gradual ramp that was, all the way from the very beginning, where the chorus felt very almost subdued, and they took that melody, they just kept building on it. Things got just, gradually louder and more intense, and with each chorus it got bigger, it got better, it got brighter, more instruments were being thrown into the mix, and by the time that last build-up happened and then we got the huge payoff at the end, I mean, I could identify that was going to happen, but the thing is, it doesn't make it any less amazing when it does hit. It's such a magical moment, and this is just for me, like as a first-time listener to this, immediately you're hooked into the melody, immediately the song structure just, we're so familiar with the whole like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, verse, pre-chorus, chorus kind of thing. We're so used to it that what makes the song actually stick in our mind isn't the structure per se, it's the way that we all communally come together and sing those choruses together, because we know where they are, we know what they stand for and represent, and the melody is damn good. So much of the way that this song was written, and we'll get into the lyrics more granularly, so much of the way this song was written was done in effort for everybody to come together in this almost arena rock fashion and end on that like high magical note. It was really, really well done. Man, I'm such a nerd. Let's check out the lyrics here. The future teaches you to be alone, the present to be afraid and cold. So if I can shoot rabbits, then I can shoot fascists. I mean, right here, this is the line that immediately sticks out in your brain. But honestly, what I find more interesting here are the first two. The present to be afraid and cold. The future teaches you to be alone. What happens is if in the present, our generation is afraid and cold due to whatever factors may be at play, those lessons, those ways of living and being will be felt by generations to come. And those below us, the children, they will be alone, and they will be alone with those problems. You could also just take it literally and say, like, more people will be lonely. You know, people refer to the loneliness epidemic all the time. It is one of the pressing issues of our time. So if I can shoot rabbits, then I can shoot fascists. But then the change kind of here, we go to a more like political lean. If I can shoot rabbits, if I can do the simple thing in my hunting activities, then I can also enact violence on the people who are oppressors to us. Bullets for your brain today, but we'll forget it all again. Monuments put from pen to paper turns me into a gutless wonder. So right away, bullets for your brain today, another visceral set of lyrics. The way I kind of think about this is that what we are fed on a daily basis, the news, let's say, all of the negativity bias that surrounds us in the world and pushed on to us through content, through the powers that be, these are bullets for our brain. They actually serve to harm us rather than help us. And so we are becoming psychologically damaged because of what's going on. But the thing is, even if we recognize it in the present, we'll forget about it tomorrow again, because that's how much this pot has been brought up in terms of temperature. We are no longer perceiving the difference between, a calm, peaceful reality and one full of stress and constantly being in a version of survival mode. Monuments put from pen to paper turns me into a gutless wonder. So here I was thinking the wonder, like me being the gutless wonder, refers to monuments, because monuments are like wonders of the world, for example. But the monuments put from pen to paper turns me into a gutless wonder. Turns me into a gutless wonder. The things that we talk about aren't necessarily, it's not necessarily enough, because it doesn't take any guts to say something. It takes guts to do something. And monuments, they stay still, right? So if you do nothing, if you stand idly by, then you lose time in the present and it impacts your future, and our kids will be worse off for it. It's kind of like a stasis. That's how I interpret this right now. And if you tolerate this stasis, we'll go with my interpretation, then your children will be next. And if you tolerate this, your children will be next, will be next, will be next, will be next. All of the ways that they are being damaged by society, if we continue to let this ride, well, this will be the future for newer generations. Gravity keeps my head down, or is it maybe shame, at being so young and being so vain? Is it shame? Wow. And, I can empathize with this a lot, because in my life I have felt a whole host of shame for just being me in all of the ways that I am, which is such a foolish thing, and it feels so simple to just say that and try to get past it, but also oftentimes it stays stuck with you for a long time, and you have to learn to dance with that rather than completely block it out of your life. And I'm still, in my own healing process, trying to figure it all out. And being so young and being so vain, is it my shame at being so young and being so vain? Because when you're young, you don't know as much because you don't have as much experience, but to feel shame on top of not knowing, like feeling the shame of not knowing because you're young, means that you're going to live a life of endless misery, because there's no world in which the youngsters, we can put it like that, have more experience and can be perfect, and therefore they will feel shame to some extent for just being lesser on that totem pole. But just because that is maybe the way that it is doesn't mean you have to be shamed for it or feel that shame internally. It's interesting. Why is he feeling so down? Holes in your head today, but I'm a pacifist. I've walked La Ramblas, but not with real intent. This I need to look up. La Ramblas. La Rambla is Barcelona's most famous, vibrant, tree-lined pedestrian boulevard, stretching from Place de Catalunya to the waterfront, packed with street performers, flower stalls, cafes, shops, historic buildings like the Liceu Theatre, and landmarks like the Boqueria Market, offering a lively, albeit crowded, slice of Catalan culture and history, evolving from old riverbed into a major city artery. Wow, Google AI is crazy descriptive there. So now I know exactly where he's walking, but he's not walking with real intent. That is interesting. So holes in your head today, also hearkening back to the bullets for your brain today. Now the bullets, they leave those holes. So now there's holes in your head. You've been damaged, you've been attacked, and now that's what's remaining are holes. But guess what? I'm a pacifist. I've walked La Ramblas with no real intent, meaning I saw these terrible things happen to you, and again, I stood idly by. I rested on my own laurels. And I'm assuming the venue, this like boulevard, La Ramblas, there may be a lot of like political activity going on there, which would, give it more sense for that in that context. And if you tolerate this, then your children will be next. And you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Will be next, will be next, will be next. And another broader way to sort of interpret this, which also may be partially where they're trying to get at, is this idea that just because you're tolerating problematic behavior that doesn't necessarily impact you right now, doesn't mean that in the future it won't impact your children. Because it's all well and good when things that I get to speak luxuriously about don't actually impact me or my day-to-day, but the moment that they do, then I'm going to advocate for myself, right? And try to galvanize support for me. It only makes sense. But if the foot was on the other shoe, then you would realize like, hey, because I have so many luxury beliefs, I'm not actually going out of my way to help others who need it. When they needed it, I turned a blind eye, and now they're suffering consequences that if I had stood up for those other people, then my children would have benefited by the effort that I put into ameliorating the other situation. But instead, because I didn't put any effort towards that, now a possibility is our children will be next on that totem pole. If the other group, and there's many different historical applications we could look at for this idea, but if another group is othered by a society, well, just because you're not a part of that othered group now doesn't mean you won't become a part of that othered group. You have to stand on your value system rather than what's happening contextually that may not be readily impacting you, but could be felt. If people thought a little bit more outside of themselves, or even just thought of more generally second order and third order effects of things, even if it's like political or different policies, whatever, we would have at least more honest conversations about what everything looks like in the short term and medium and long term. But yeah, and for me, I'm not a very political person either, so take all of that with as much of a grain of salt as I can. But this is what I notice a lot from the outside looking in. And when I think about how I want to improve society, I start from within, so that the life that I want to build for my family, my children, actually is one that I helped build rather than kind of luxurially existed in it. And when I see things that are problems, I should speak on them too. So enough proselytizing there. The last set of lyrics here. On the street tonight, an old man plays with newspaper cuttings of his glory days. So now we see all of this stuff going on in our world, all of the terror, all of the uncertainty, all of the anxiety, the constant polarization. We see all of it, and then there's a person of old, from the past, just reminiscing on what was, because they may have had it better in a lot of very tangible ways, and they're sort of almost being like potentially braggadocious about it too in that context. But in reality, people also just want to live in the place that feels most comfortable for them. And if it happens that we constructed a worse future for our society, we will inevitably reminisce on what was in the past. And I feel like the fact that we have to do so much reminiscing about the good times, I think shows you that there is a problem, because that shows up as a symptom. There wouldn't necessarily be an incessant compulsion for us to think about all of the good days in the past and how things were so much better. I mean, of course, nostalgia is a thing, and we remember the good things from our past more than the bad necessarily. So we have some cognitive biases at play, but the thing is, if you take all of that into account and still come to the practical conclusion that things are worse now for the kids of the following generations, we all need to do our part to make this society better. I think it's high time that anybody and everybody who is capable of speaking up for others who need help one way or the other, or see problems where they may be, start helping to contribute to those problems. For me, with this reaction channel, even in some weird senses, I feel like I am putting my best foot out there to push the message of peace, love, positivity, because so much of our conversations, even these days, lack all three. And how are we ever going to solve issues when we don't stand on the same footing of shared goals, of handling things with respect, with peace? It's just my belief system. I mean, there's a whole host of beliefs out there, and I'm sure maybe you even disagree with me, but that's the beauty of us being able to talk with one another in an honest way. Because if we just keep it all to ourselves, then whatever happens to us is a bit of what we may deserve to societally. But that's all my half-baked comments for you today. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. If you did and want to request one yourself, whether it's more Manic Street Preachers or anybody else for that matter, please hit the first link in the description box below. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.